VO in Stereo is sponsored by Bodalgo, international voice acting platform.
I am a robot. Bleep, bleep, bloop.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to VO in Stereo. As always, I'm your host, Stephen Coghill. With me is Jared Bresches.
I'm Jared Bresches.
There you go. Northern, you know that. Well, today, as Stephen and I would say in our language, we're going to have a bleep, bloop, keep bloop, bleep show, which means we're here to welcome an award-winning Los Angeles-based voice actor. Now, he's not just a voice actor. He's also a musician and an educator. Please help me welcome Mr. Tim Friedlander.
Woo!
My Tim likes to party and educate.
Welcome.
Thanks, man. Appreciate you being here.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. This is great.
Yeah, thanks for carving out some time for us. We appreciate that. Mr.
Perfect.
SoundBOX in LA.
Yeah. Nice Friday afternoon.
Right?
Yeah,
Great time to have a conversation.
absolutely.
So my first question to you is, sir, is where are you originally from?
I am originally from a little farm on a commune in Idaho, in northern Idaho, originally, and then made my way across to the Seattle area. And in 2002, came down to LA.
So how was that growing up in a commune?
It was awesome. It was great. You know, lived on a farm, grew up out in the woods in the middle of nowhere, and progressively worked my way from a town of 207 to the biggest town I could find, apparently, on the West Coast. I worked my way down to Los Angeles. So, yeah, it's amazing. It's amazing.
Talking about warming yourself up.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Talking like the
Slowly.
farm. Favorite animal? Lay it on me.
You know, we had horses. We had Morgan horses. The horses were awesome. Lots of sheep, cows, and chickens, lambs, goats. Lambs are awesome. I had little sheep are awesome. So
And no lying, you did every one of those noises when you were a little kid following them around.
Sure. Why not? Sure. You know, yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Even if it wasn't true, I'm going to say yes.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So in commune, that's interesting. So your parents must have been some interesting characters.
Yeah. Well, yeah. My dad was a Shakespeare teacher. My mom's a nurse.
Oh, wow.
And my dad was from Queens in New York. My mom was from Santa Ana, and they met on a farm in Idaho in the middle of nowhere in the 70s. So
I need more information than that. That went way too fast for my piqued interest right there.
Yeah, that was like a Reader's Digest version.
That was, yeah.
This is an hour show, so we need you to slow it down. Let's...
Take some time. Yeah, you know, my dad was a nice Jewish boy from Queens, the nice Catholic girl from Santa Ana, and meeting in Idaho. So that's the 70s. You know? Yeah.
In Idaho on a farm.
Yeah.
That's great. So you must have had some crazy, be able to look up at the sky and see the stars and stuff and not have a lot of light pollution.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, it was, our first farm was like 130 acres way out in the woods. And then my parents built their own farms. So actually cleared the land, bought the land, cleared the land, built everything by hand. And we were in the middle of nowhere. So you walk outside and it's just, you got everything out there. And you can see the Aurora Borealis, you get the Northern Lights, all that stuff. And pretty amazing. If you have never seen those, that's really, really.
I have not.
No, that's a bucket list item for me for sure.
It is amazing, and even up in Washington, because when I was in Washington, we were about 45 minutes south of the Canadian border, so we're fairly far north. And you get, even at that point, you're far enough north that some years you can see you get the Northern Lights from that far north, or that far south. You don't have to be much farther north, but really, I mean, really one of those things that you can't put into words. If you've seen it in movies, you're like, oh, that looks amazing, and then you see it in person, you're like, doesn't even do it justice. You can't
Right. It's hard to photograph.
Hand. No,
Yeah.
absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
what's funny is I remember going to Washington State, and I was out in the middle of going for a wedding or something, and it got dark, and I looked up and I said, "What the hell is that?" And they're like, "Yeah, that's the Milky Way." I said, "Oh, because we just don't have that here. You look up and you see a few stars, and that's it. It's light pollution. It's just, it's ruined forever."
Exactly. And I guess you forget that people don't see that. Like, I'm just so used to kind of growing up with that. Like, not everybody has ever seen.
Yeah.
Seen the Milky Way.
Apparently in New York City, there was like a huge, a blackout in the 70s, and they started calling the police, and they're like, "There's a strange lights in the sky. What do we do?" That's just the Milky Way. Okay. You can't see it normally, but it's there now. And they were just like,
amazing.
"Stars, what are those? They're going to kill us."
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So did you grow up with brothers and sisters?
Yeah, two younger brothers.
Pigs and things.
Yeah, cows, pigs, sheep. We didn't have any pigs. We had cows and sheep, a bull that attacked my dad once, and that was the end of the bull.
I used to live on a farm, and I got attacked by the bull almost morning. He would chase me around the car when I was home to eat, and I'd scare him, and he'd run away, and I'd be like, "This is ridiculous. I'm out of this place."
Yep. Yeah. Two younger brothers. Actually, my brother is currently down here visiting. He came down for a couple of weeks from Washington for his birthday. So he's actually leaving tomorrow. So we're going to go out and have a nice dinner tonight after we're done with this. And two younger brothers. Parents up in Washington still. They've got a small farm now in Washington. So they kind of live on a river out in the middle of nowhere.
They got a van by the river.
They got a van down
I'm with you, boy.
Yep. Is it air conditioning time? That's not a bad idea, actually.
No, I had to turn mine off. It started to freeze.
Oh, okay. I'm turning mine on because it actually got hot over here. So we'll swatch.
Yeah, most people don't know this is my garage. They're like, "What?" No, yeah.
I think I saw you had pictures of the build. I think
yeah.
There, so this is I'm actually in the back house at my house.
I'm
above my garage.
It was a mountain of work, but
I can imagine. Yeah,
all by myself. Yeah, if I had some help,
man.
I don't have any friends. That's the problem. I need more friends, Jared.
Local friends.
He's in Atlanta. That's the problem. He's
okay, nice. You're and where are you, Stephen? Where are you at?
I'm in Maryland, like at northern Maryland.
Okay, gotcha. I said, one of my friends has moved from Atlanta, just relocated from Atlanta to LA about 2 months ago.
Yeah.
I don't know whether that's a smart decision or who knows.
That's true. There's a mess.
It's been a lot back and forth.
You're right. You're either coming or going. It's like, where are you from? LA. Where are you going?
Atlanta. Yep.
Like, what the hell are you doing? Well, you don't understand. The house here is literally an apartment there. It's like, you get a 4-bedroom house with a yard.
Right. Oh, yeah. Yep. Yeah, for sure.
That's the problem.
The whole game, man. Yeah.
Traffic.
It's a big lot of idiots.
Georgia, LA traffic. I don't know.
Yeah. LA can't move. Georgia, Mad Max.
Yeah.
Right. Good to know. That sums it up pretty nicely. I guess.
Oh no, you call me. I'll drive you around. I got this huge truck with a snow plow and shit attached to it.
The steel plates on the windows.
Freelander, get on the turret.
I'm on the hood I got the guitar and the flamethrower on the hood. We're all good to go. So
that was exactly. Did you know that was edited by a female? I read this the other day. He said he wanted the action movie to be different than any other movie, so he had. I think it was his wife. He had his wife do it from a female perspective. I was like, well, it was amazing.
Yeah.
I love that.
Flamethrower.
Yeah.
So did you, when did you get into instruments? Was it like as a kid?
I started, my uncle, my dad, and my grandfather were all musicians. So I kind of grew up in it. And I started playing drums when I was 4, started cello in 4th grade, and then moved to clarinet. So my background is actually classical clarinet. I got my undergrad degree in clarinet performance, classical clarinet player.
Interesting.
Kind of came to LA with simultaneous like guitar and clarinet. So I played clarinet all the way through high school, all the way through college, and then studied jazz guitar as well through a lot of that time. And then came to LA with the intention of having voiceover support my music career. And came to LA and did a lot of session work when I first got here, clarinet and guitar, and kind of worked my way through that whole scene for a while. But it's tough. classical, if you're a classical musician, you really got to wait till somebody dies. Somebody's going to be in that seat until they're, literally until they can't play anymore. You'll be sitting, there was was it a few years ago, like I think a bassoon player or a bass player in one of the orchestras, literally she's 80 something and passed away on stage in a rehearsal, literally played in that seat until they passed away. You got those things. So what a way to go. What a way to go, sitting there in your chair just playing music and you're just done.
Can't be much better.
No.
Fall over with my guitar, snap the neck off, like that's it, Steven's done.
Yep, exactly.
I love it.
Yep.
I'll die. Take the cold dead hands from my guitar. No, I don't know. Jared, do you have anything to say over there? You've been very quiet.
I'm listening to you Yahoo musicians talk. Oh, I'm gonna get me some Mr. Tim. I was gonna wait because what I probably had to say and talk about is get a little bit to the darker side because I did a little studying up on Mr. Friedlander here.
All right.
Oh no, here we go. Here we go. Woot woot.
Well, we share something you wouldn't really want to share with another human being. It's kind of one of those things that you wouldn't wish upon another human being, and that's the depression issue that you're growing up with. Even with everything and all the stimulation and everything, the interview that I was watching, that you had issues with depression, and I have suffered greatly with that. And we talk about it a lot on the show about how to like comedians. Usually comedians are like, "Oh, you're so funny." It's like, you don't see that dude behind closed doors. That's a sad son of a bitch.
Yeah.
Those positives and those negatives are such an extreme. So I know it's just like 180.
Yeah.
So, but I mean, that's something that really struck me about you, that because look at the life you're leading now. And for anyone who's dealt with depression on any level, especially like us, is manic, to get to where you're at, boy, you fought a hell of a lot of demons, buddy.
I'm still fighting them. I mean, this has been probably the worst year of my life is this last year. Like the pandemic and all of this other stuff. It's been a dark. It's you get down deep. It's dark. It's not something I talk about a lot, obviously, but when it comes up, I'm not like I'll talk about it for sure. But something I've dealt with for a long time.
Wasn't going to bring it up for this interview.
Yeah. Top of my list.
Let me talk about my deep, dark depression here for a moment.
There's one thing we do pride ourselves here. Like, we like to be honest. Everybody likes to puff out sunshine and rainbows, and totally. Life's not like that.
No, not at all. I mean, and it's
expectations and stuff, and you got to take the good with the bad, the yin and the yang, and sometimes it's a lot more yang.
Yeah. No, I mean, it's something that I've dealt with for probably my entire life, and it's stems from various different whatever it might be. It's chemical, it's emotional, it's how you're raised, it's circumstances, it's trauma, it's all of these things that happen. I know for me, I moved a lot in like between 4th and 6th grade, and that was at the time, looking back on it now, it's the 80s. It doesn't it's not handled. You wouldn't know how to handle it emotionally for somebody who's that young, and mental health, and talking about 84, 85, 86, even up until the mid 90s, the topic of mental health and how you would deal with it as a parent is not something that wasn't discussed or dealt with or even known how to be handled.
Probably,
yeah, for sure. And then also we moved from went from a small town in Idaho that was, you knew everybody, and so everybody looked out for everybody else. And I moved to Boise, Idaho, which was a big town, had everything that you ever wanted. Then moved from there to kind of a small little farm town in Washington that was still, still very, it's kind of in the country. You're in the 80s. It's, very, for better lack of a term, like, self macho. You have to basically, you're raised to just go out and be the cowboy or be whatever, the football player, whatever these things are. You don't talk about any of these things. So being a musician, being the artist in that environment, is rough. And then also not understanding what it is you're dealing with, and not having a support system in any capacity in the school system that you're at to be able to even comprehend how to deal with these things or even know it's an issue, then leads you down later in life to having to navigate this and handle it when you get later in life. And this last year has been, it's been probably the worst that I've dealt with in obviously, you look at online, look at the stuff, nobody's posting about the stuff, like, you're not supposed about the bad stuff, and that's stuff that I deal with and I handle amongst myself and my friends and, in my environment that I need to deal with, but also knowing that, I have a business to run and I have people that need my help, and I have things that I can do to help myself by helping other people. And that's how I navigated this last year. And then also, I live alone. I live, it's myself and my dog. And during the pandemic, it's tough, even in LA, to be, you are isolated, and then you become more self-isolating when you don't want to deal with people, and it's hard to come out of that.
Yeah, but you had to close for a while, I'm sure, because of the pandemic.
We closed for a while. We closed from March to June, and we were actually really lucky. Kind of one of the things, at least from the business perspective, is that when we closed down, and for those who don't know, I have SoundBOX. We're now SoundBOX Studio Group. We've got 6 studios, 4 all over the place. 4 in Los Angeles. Actually, we got 5 now. So 4 in Los Angeles area and 1 in Colorado. And one of the things that we did, I think our last session was March 16th, and by the following week, we had pulled everybody together, and we spent a week trying to figure out how we were going to navigate this to not just sit back and wait for it to be over, but to come out of this stronger and prepared, so that the day that we were allowed to be back and be in operation, that we were equipped to take care of the talent that were coming in. Another thing that I think sets us apart is that we're 100% talent owned and operated. Everybody who works here, everybody in the industry, in SoundBOX, we're all voice talent as well. So we work at this from not only the studio owner perspective, but as a talent, how do I feel about going into these sessions? So, not having people in for the studio for these sessions for months at a time, is like, if, I don't see anybody. I see I see the Grubhub driver dropping off food, and I'd see my neighbors, and walk and see people. But, I have a pit bull, and I'm like, I'm 6'1", and so you walk down the street and everybody across the street is anyway. So in the middle of a pandemic, everybody's really crossing the street.
And you're like, be nice to me. I'm a nice guy.
Yeah, I was like,
I'm good 3 bills. I look like 6'2", 6'3". I would hug you. I would hug the crap out of you.
Exactly. Yeah.
For them feeling.
Right.
So being isolated, and then you kind of become more self-isolating, and it's been tough. It's been a tough year. Really, only coming out of it, into a point of being better with only the last couple of weeks. Personally, from a so probably middle of September, of kind of coming out to a point where I feel like I'm coming out of the bottom of this.
Right. Well,
but
that's a good thing. I think just the fact that both of us do this type of thing tends to lend towards spending a lot of time in here by yourself with no windows, and
absolutely, yeah.
So it kind of gets so like you get used to it.
You get used to it until the day that you're not used to it. Until
the disconnect becomes too much.
You're like, I didn't take acid. Why are the walls closing?
Right. Yeah.
No, but you're thankful when you get, when clients come in and it breaks up the monotony, and you're like, great, I have something else to work on. It renews and invigorates and that sort of thing.
Absolutely. And I think one of the great things about, I think we've seen this, across the world this last year is this opportunity to kind of just take a step back and reset and reevaluate why we're doing what we do. And for a lot of people, that leads them to question and leave why they're doing what they're doing. And some people, it remotivates them and puts them back into a path of more commitment to what it is they're doing. I kind of went back and forth with a lot of that. One of the things, when we first hit this, I was like, this is gonna be amazing. We have all this time just to stop. Everybody just like create and sit in there's no pressure. Grab your instruments. There should be this massive creation of art coming out of this. And then, you get into this, you're like, yes, it's great. I'm a voice actor. I've been preparing for this for years. Like, I know what it's like to be isolated. I know it's like to be alone. And then all of a sudden you're
I got this.
Yeah. And then like 6 weeks into it, you're like, wait, everybody, the whole world is freaking out and my life's not any different. Like, this is my day-to-day hasn't changed. Nothing's really different. And then you're like, wait, holy shit. I've been like I've been like isolating myself for years already. What am I doing? Like, what if, these are, and it's kind of, it all snowballs.
I guess it depends on how you look at it, because me, it's like, I feel like I've been training for this, it's like.
Exactly. Yeah.
I'm an extrovert. I like to hug people and talk to people.
He really does.
Yeah.
Like, I will walk in, like, this is one of my favorite ones. This lady was wearing a lime green unitard. And she walked out, had the whole thing on. I was like, girl, I almost wore the same thing in the store. I'm glad I changed.
Yeah.
She looked so mad, but then all of a sudden she started cracking up and laughing. We had the best time. I literally have a shirt that says free hugs, and my wife's like, I told you to quit wearing that damn thing.
That's right. We can't take you to the store, Jared, because you want to make friends with everybody in the store and you want to talk to everybody, and now we're in there for 4 hours.
I like it.
Do it. Yeah.
Well, you never know when. If you get that moment to literally change someone's day, you don't know what's going on in their day. Like, you could have been the icebreaker that was like, well, shit, now I don't have to go to Kroger and set the whole thing on fire. This is great.
Right. Yeah. Well, you don't know. I mean, you don't know what one little interaction.
To be an ass.
True.
And very little effort to be kind.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
That's true. That's been a running theme on this show. Don't be an asshole.
Yeah, that was my LinkedIn profile for why I just said don't be a dick. It's like, work your ass off and don't be a dick.
That works too.
True.
Yeah, nobody, there's not a lot of opportunities for people who are unhappy and not nice.
Even if you get a couple in this industry, you're gonna get found out. Nobody likes working poopy head. Nobody likes that at all, man.
Yeah. No, it's not worth it. There's enough good people, to surround yourself with and to work with. There's no reason, and there's talent can go so far, but talent won't overcome personality if you're just not somebody people want to work with.
That's true.
So,
and there's enough wonderful wackadoodles in this industry.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
You're speaking to two of them
for the first time, like today on a show.
Right.
All right, talk to me about video games. Give me the video game. And have you ever played a video game that you have voiced?
So people hate it when I answer this question. I don't play. I think the last time I played video games was I played my Sega in '96.
That's
so
okay.
I'm not I just do not play video games.
We don't have time to play video games.
Exactly.
Yeah. I have children.
Tim.
I really enjoy Disney and video games.
I enjoy Disney. I tell you, I'll watch Frozen all day. I'll watch Frozen 2 all day. I love the music on those things. So, yeah, my ex-girlfriend didn't like. She just didn't comprehend why I could actually like Frozen. But I also, I taught
ex-girlfriend.
yeah, it's her problem, at that point.
Never seen it because I'm in here.
Yeah. You know what? Just the music is great. Like in both of those ones, I'm a sucker for good music. It's like good music is good music. But I also, I taught kindergarten, K through preschool music for years, K through 6 music.
Oh, so you like children? Yeah,
so I like to. Yeah.
All right, so this is where we diverge.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah.
Nice to meet you, but you must leave now.
Exactly. Well, I don't mind. You can teach them and leave them at the door when you can leave school at the end of the day. So
that's true. Hang them up on the coat rack and leave.
Yeah,
I gotcha.
Yeah. But I taught for 12 years, and that was my main. I taught for a long time. That's really what I really enjoyed doing is teaching. And so kind of the studio and all the stuff that I do now is really, I kind of consider myself more of like a facilitator, educator than I do most other things in what I do. So
did your parents have a killer record collection growing up?
That is actually, we're just discussing that the other day. My brother and I were talking about it because we were discussing the fact that we had this great record player and all these records and nobody ever played music in the house.
What in the bleep?
And that we're talking to my, I grew up on the Beatles and Zeppelin and all the other stuff along those lines. But my dad's favorite musician was Miles Davis and loved jazz. And I didn't know that until college. And he's like, oh, yeah.
Because he never played him.
Because he never played it. But, it's like, everybody, I just, you get together. It's the 80s. You get together for dinner. And that my mom worked nights. My dad worked days. As a teacher, my mom's a nurse. And it's like you cross in the middle and the kids are, 3 kids running around doing whatever you want to do. You hop on your bike and disappear for 3 days. Nobody cares. No, they don't care. Nobody it's just normal.
Yeah,
people
right.
Care.
It's not like today.
Care, so. No,
Right.
now you're like, you're going, you've been out on your bike for 15 minutes and I can't,
Right. Right. They're treated like veal nowadays.
Billy,
They're like,
Billy.
Exactly. Yeah. It's like, keep your phone, it's like, I can track you on your,
right. I need to track you on my computer. Yep. I got you 1.5 miles away, kid. You better be biking back.
Exactly. But no, like my uncle's was a rock historian. So, we talked music with my uncle. My dad was big into music. My dad's a bluegrass player. He's been playing music, he's been in a band for 20 odd years. They play more than I do.
Does he play acoustic guitar or banjo?
Acoustic guitar, bluegrass. They're called the Prozac Mountain Boys. And
gotcha.
it's him and
a
other
lot of chicken picking.
Yeah,
I want
for sure.
Wrangle Jessica White. Have you ever heard about Jessica White, the tap dancing crazy person?
No.
Oh, look that dude up. I spent 13 years doing security for like the private security for the groups, and my whole job that night was to not let this man set the building on fire. Jessica White.
I'm a pyro.
Jessica White. Okay.
Sanity.
Look, he's looking him up right now.
I'm looking up right now. Jessica White. There we go.
Like I must see.
Okay.
Nut job. Scary. Wildest night of my life.
Wow. Really?
Absolutely.
The audience will see right
That's
there.
crazy. Yeah. Yeah. I'm looking over there at the other screen.
Yes, you're looking over there and they're looking here. It's fine.
Yeah,
It's fine.
exactly. Yeah.
It's all post-production magic.
So, did you do anything with your life? Did you have any fun? Or was there anything creative around you or what? Geez. Like the crap.
Did you have creative brothers and sisters, or were you with
No. My two brothers, we're all musicians.
oh, neat.
So, we all kind of, we never played together, like as a family band or anything, but we all kind
It wasn't like Hanson. I got you.
No Hanson going on there. My middle brother's a chef. He's kind of been like, he was in Mallory for a long time, raw food chef. Really, like kind of definitely artistic and creative in the culinary arts. And then my youngest brother is works in the cannabis industry and does like distillation and.
Look how happy Jared is. He's like, I love you, man.
Sometimes it's okay to use things that keep you from hurting other people.
Exactly.
I want to thank you for you and your brother for your work.
yes, absolutely. Yes.
Idle hands and lungs.
Yep.
I mean,
hey, remember, it's almost 7:00 here on the East Coast.
There you go. Yeah, absolutely.
No judgment. Don't judge.
You're set. I mean, yeah, you're starting like a few hours late then, right?
Right. That's what I was thinking. So, so you said you played a bunch of instruments. What do you think your favorite instrument is?
Bass or drums? I don't play them at all. Guitars.
That's
I play
funny.
most of the time.
Bass and drums, but you don't play them at all.
Yeah,
do you have
all.
drums in SoundBOX Studio?
I do sometimes. Sometimes the kit's gone right now. That's one of our other studios. It's his main kit, but he leaves it here. We use it here a lot. I played trombone in high school as well. That was a lot of fun. I kind of play it. Yeah. Yep. Exactly. I love marching bands, like orchestral music and stuff. I still play it in like a community orchestra here in LA. It's a lot of fun. It's more it's like less about the instrument sometimes than it is about the environment and the group and all that stuff. I really enjoy playing bass. Guitar, I happens to be what I do mostly. And I have that kind of a love-hate relationship with it. Some days I just like,
that's kind of what's expected for you for the productions that you do, I'm sure.
Yeah, and all the stuff, the stuff that we play, and I enjoy playing it. I just, sometimes it's just like it's also, it's when you think about music too. Guitar is just a whole. You're trying to wrap your brain around it. It's such a unique instrument in the way that it exists in multiple dimensions in a way that other instruments don't. That sometimes your brain's just not operating on that level where you can navigate it properly,
Right. Bending the strings is one of those things.
I'm going to keep it in the pocket. The KISS method, keep it simple.
Keep it simple. Exactly. Yep.
Actually, I'm a man. I knew we had more things in common.
Yeah.
That's how I learned music, is a classical bass, upright bass.
Okay. Oh, yeah. Oh, awesome. Yeah. Absolutely.
I'm a bass player by heart.
Nice. That's awesome. Perfect. Yeah, I played bass. I should have played bass really. I played bass at the beginning of college, but I was a guitar player. So then that's what you play, because I'm a guitar player. So you can't just play bass because I'm not a bass player. So, but Just
More
one-
late too, way more
Well,
late.
just
Very
sometimes-
important
yeah.
to learn the rhythm section.
Absolutely, yeah.
Makes you more well-rounded
Absolutely, yeah. Yeah.
composer or instrumentalist, because
Yeah.
a lot of people, especially guitar players, they'll pick up the bass and they'll play it like a guitar, and it's
Well,
like,
like
that's
yeah,
not,
no,
that's
no,
not
it's not
it. That's
fine.
not it. That's not
Nope.
it.
Not how it goes.
Follow the drums, my friend.
Yeah, exactly.
So yeah,
Yeah.
that's it's like, it's, since I'm a multi-instrumentalist, again, I try to
Yeah.
put myself in the player's thought process.
Yeah.
Okay, as a bass
Sure.
player, what do I need to do? As a drummer, what do I need to do? As a guitar, what do I need to do is whatever.
Absolutely, yeah.
It makes it, I think it makes it better. It makes it better. It makes it so much better.
Yeah.
So what are your favorite? You said you grew up on Zeppelin and stuff like that. You
Yeah.
have some influences now that are anybody now that's recording that you're into?
I listen to a lot. I listen to a lot like Lettuce. I listen to Snarky Puppy.
Oh, Lettuce.
Yeah,
I
Lettuce
love
is
those
awesome.
guys.
They're
I
great.
got a set list from those guys they signed from
Nice. Oh, they're awesome. Yeah.
I love they're one of my favorite bands.
Stuff, I kind of like, it's interesting because like at least up in Washington in like the kind of the mid to late 90s, there was kind of this, we had like the Cherry Poppin' Daddies, like the swing phase, but that very quickly, at least in Washington, it became like a funk phase really quickly with James Brown, Mayday Parker, Herbie Hancock, Headhunters, all that stuff that we were listening to and like coming out of college. So in college, my band in college was called Fat Albert Rotunda, named after the Herbie Hancock album, Fat Albert Rotunda, which was partially inspired by the show. But you're talking, some of that like just hardcore 70s funk that was just, average white band stuff.
For me, it was Ohio Players.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
So a lot of that came, that was kind of that's where I spent a lot of time in kind of post-college playing. And still kind of that, kind of leads, obviously, there's all those James Brown guys and Macy, all those guys came out of jazz, the jazz scene. So you have a lot of that connection, as it relates to that. And you get the same thing with, like Soul Live and Lettuce and Snarky Puppy is this real jazz, obviously, foundation to a lot of this stuff. Helicopters flying overhead. Can you hear that?
I can't, no.
Oh, okay. Good, awesome. Well, now you know there's a helicopter flying overhead.
You got that noise reduction on the Zoom.
There's
Yeah,
a picture of a helicopter in there.
Yeah, helicopter going. But I grew up in Seattle and I turned 18 the year that Nevermind came out. So in the 90s, Nevermind, Red Hot Chili Peppers, Pearl Jam. Pearl Jam is really for me was kind of like one of my really like in the moment peer influences where I felt like I was like kind of in the same scene. Zeppelin obviously was way before my time, Beatles before my time. And then currently I just don't listen to a lot of music currently. I don't listen to a lot of new stuff. I also, a lot of times, I spend a lot of the time listening when I'm in my car driving. I'm not going anywhere. So I just don't listen to a lot of stuff. But it's all over the place. I definitely, Bob Marley for a while, I was really into a lot of that stuff. But it just kind of comes down to whatever I kind of feel like. And then a lot of times, I'm sitting in the studio with headphones on. A lot of times, sometimes I just don't want to listen to anything. I don't want to hear anything.
I got you. Oh yeah, because connected with this,
Your craft, Karen.
Yeah, you respect the silence.
Respect the silence, and and it makes you go back and listen to it when you get a chance to go back and listen to things. I listen to Tool, I listen to Perfect Circle. All over the place. Good music is good music, and so it's trying to find that stuff. And then also good music it varies by what platform you listen to. Like, there's a lot of things that I listen to that I prefer to listen to on CD only, or that I listen to on vinyl only, that I listen to on, off my phone or streaming, that things just sound, I think, fit in that medium. But, I don't know. Nothing really currely, though, I'm trying to think of anything I'm listening to recently.
Nothing with trap beats and auto-tune?
A little bit, I've listened to a lot of hip hop. A lot of the stuff, like the current group I play with. I play with a band called the Urban Renewal Project, and it's like a hip hop orchestra that I play with. So a lot of stuff we're listening to. We're doing covers, doing Cardi B. We're doing, working with a band called Camp Low. Some of these guys out of New York. So a lot of hip hop stuff. Working with Anthony Hamilton, some other, other various in the kind of hip hop realm, which for guitar is very interesting because coming from that perspective, it's a lot of it's really thinking about playing guitar not in the way that we normally think of creating verse, chorus, hooks, all these things. It's very much about thinking about the guitar in a different way, of creating 4-bar loops, 8-bar loops, and creating that and living in that little bubble of what the guitar exists in, differently than, oh, here's all the chords, and here's a big verse, and here's a solo, and here's all this bridge that you're going to.
Right.
It's a really different way of thinking about where the guitar fits into a group. And especially if you're trying, if you're doing covers like hip hop songs, a lot of times they've taken, obviously, it's built on samples of pre-existing songs. So you're not even playing the song, you're playing the snippet of the sample of the song and putting that into another song. And that sample, that snippet just exists in these 4 notes, exactly the way they exist in those 4 notes. There's no exposition, there's no creation, there's no expansion of this idea. It just exists in that moment, and you create that moment over and over and over again.
Yeah,
it's a really different way of thinking about.
You're talking about copy and paste.
Copy and paste, but live copy and paste.
No, I'm with you.
Well, there you go. Like I was going to say, at the club, we'd have bands come in, and there was a rap group with only a guitar player, the DJ and the guitar player.
Yeah,
and the guy, it was the first night they had gotten together. They hadn't practiced apparently before the show. I was like, oh, this is great.
Perfect.
So the first 2 songs, I mean, he's just literally like soloing over the music. He was like, he's all kind of proud of himself, and he's a little older than the group. He's wearing the whole, red and black striped bowler shirt with, I was like, you're killing it. And then after, and they don't really seem to be into it. I was like, dude, quit running scales over their song. I was like, when it comes to guitar and hip hop, less is way.
Absolutely, yeah.
Man, I was like, let that thing ride. Let it ring out.
You need a 4-note hook. That's it.
Yeah.
That's it.
After that, it was palatable.
Like,
exactly.
It doesn't take much, and
it doesn't take much. And we do like at least the group that. This group, it's all there's no keyboard, there's no DJ in it, so it's everything we create live. Nice. And so we'll play with these do covers, and it's creating all these samples live down to the horn sections and everything, all the horn all stuff. It's great. Which guitar is much easier to continue to play. You can play, I can play a 4-bar loop indefinitely, but try and give a trumpet player a 4-bar loop for 3.5 minutes without breathing in there. It becomes a little more difficult.
Yeah, it is.
When you're cutting and pasting that sample, it's easy to do, but when you're trying to create it live, it's a whole different thing.
It sure is.
So
yeah, I know a lot of guys who play with like loopers and stuff, but that can get really complicated.
That's I've been playing with that a lot recently. I love playing with like loop pedals and everything. It's a lot of fun. That's a whole different game too, of like trying to navigate your way.
That is a skill.
Absolutely, it's a skill. Yeah.
I've seen some cats, and then I go, I can do that, and I'm screwing up the timing. I'm like, damn it, I got to do the whole thing again. I suck.
No, you must have messed it up one. You mess up one part of the loop, and you're done.
You're done.
Yep.
These guys will do it with just their voice. They'll do like beatboxing, and then they'll start.
Yeah.
Right. Like, oh, that's
that shit is cool. Now there's a couple of guys on there. There's a few guys on Instagram, TikTok that are just killing it with that. It's just like all the pads and all the loops and the synths and all the. Oh man, that stuff's awesome. Yeah.
Gives me the tinglies down below.
Yeah. There you go. Yep.
I love it. Dude, for $100, this is the coolest thing going on.
Yeah. Those things are great. Yeah. Yep.
It's fun on a bun. How did you get into voiceover?
The traditional, hey, you have a good voice, you should be in voiceover type thing.
I love that story.
It's great. I came out of I kind of got this voice when I was like 17. Just kind of like one day is like I started sounding like this. But
you're like, hello, ladies. How are you doing?
He's at home.
Yeah, exactly. Yep. Yeah. But I would, when it came to school, I'd be the one who would like read in class, and I just enjoyed doing that stuff. So it was kind of nice to do, and I enjoyed reading.
And all the girls were like,
yeah,
I guess, yeah. I
didn't know every word.
Didn't know it at the time if that was happening, but I was oblivious to that if it was happening. And then in '96, I started taking classes when I was in Seattle, and started training in '96. Terrible at it, just terrible. Like the absolute perfect example of you have a great voice and a great instrument and have no clue how to use it. I couldn't tell a story. I couldn't. Everything I would read was just too fast. I'm doing the best I can to talk slow, but my mind's racing. So, first time I got in a booth, it was just like, just flashed right through, tripping over my words. And it took me years to be able to get to the point where I could control that read well enough to tell the story in a way that people can understand it. And then it gets to the point,
You didn't have Everett Oliver screaming at you.
Right.
All right.
Yeah.
All we need you to do is the iconic line, "Are you ready? Are you ready?" Yeah. Okay, go. Are you ready?
Are you ready? Yeah.
No, Tim, it wasn't a question.
Right. Yeah.
Dude, that still people that veterans we talk to, chit chat, and do jam workout sessions with. Still to this day, they'll get excited and they'll be like,
Yeah, slow down.
Slow down. Yeah.
Savor them. Savor those words.
Yep. Yeah. And tell the story. And that becomes, it's and now I'm at the point where, I know what I do well, and I go after the things that I do well, and I'm not gonna spend the time going after the things that I'm not right for. I'm not, I sound like me. This is what I'm going to sound like. If I do a character, the character's probably going to sound like this. It might sound like this, but it might sound like this, but it's pretty much going to sound like this. So I know what I do well. And at least in the last few years, that was kind of one of the biggest changes, probably 2016, 2017, was not wasting my time going after everything and spending my time going after the things that I look at and go, great, I'm the right one for that one, as opposed to 12 auditions that 12 other people are going to be the better choice for this job. Let me go after the one that I know that I'm right for, and go after the things that I do well, which is cars and trucks and video games and political spots and promos. And so I'll go after those things, and I'll focus my time there.
So that was a learning lesson, people.
There you go.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
I'm not
how much of
I'm not going to go try to do that. So strength, figure them out.
And some people are great at everything. I mean, I have lots of friends who are just, oh yeah, I can do this and that, and they're great at it. And that's, you go after that and do what you do well, and that may be what they do well. So, yeah.
So what percentage would you say your income is from like auditions versus like referrals, or
90% of my work is stuff I get for myself, referrals or connections I've made. And
so auditions, they're going to be
10
few
to 20%.
and far.
Yeah. I audition a lot, and some of the big, the big stuff, some of the big stuff that I've gotten through my agent through auditions. But a lot of my early stuff, 2 History Channel series, I just got from workout groups. Met a producer in a workout group, and and that's also one of the advantages of being in LA is that you're going to go to these workout groups with the producers who are the producers from the History Channel, who are literally like, oh, that's great, yeah, nice job.
They're the people who are in charge, and they can actually hire you.
And or the ones I did a workout group, and they were like, oh, that's great, I have an audition for you. Want to see the audition? Great, you booked it. Here's let me pay you for the job, because we're just going to take that audition you just did and use it as our promo for the spot. You met somebody at work. That's like, obviously, like like kind of the white whale unicorn of these workout groups. But you're in LA or in New York, or you're in places where people are doing actually the ones making the calling the shots. You don't know. You never know what's going to happen.
Yeah, because it's interesting. Doing a lot of these interviews, it circles around to the same thing where people are doing a lot of auditions and they're getting agents, but that necessarily doesn't mean anything. Like, you could just be doing audition after audition after audition and not really booking anything, and that's not really paying your bills, right?
Absolutely. I mean,
so the referrals are like the key. That's like that's the gold. That's the bread and butter. But there's no class for that. There's nobody teaching that, because I don't think it's something that you can be learned.
I don't think it's something. No.
It's relationship building. It's getting out there. It's making it happen.
Yeah. Well, it's relationships. Yeah. And that's really the biggest thing. It's one of the things that I like, you hear very negatively spoken about. Oh, it's all about who you know. Of like, well, that person, they didn't really get it. They just knew somebody who got them into that job. Well, it is about who you know. And it's about making those relationships, because with anything that you do, if I'm casting or booking or doing something, I'm going to hire the people that I know who can do the job, people that I want to work with, people that are my friends, because I trust them and know they can do that work.
That's exactly right.
And it's not because, oh, well, I just know them. It's because I know them and I know that they're the best of what they can do.
See, now I think that's information that people need to know, because I watch a lot of these training things and a lot of these clubhouse things, and nobody really talks about this. And that's really the key, whether being successful or not, because you could land a big audition and get a great job and work for years and be happy, right?
Absolutely.
But the chances of that happening are not great.
Not in this current environment that we're in, and especially in this last, in this last year, these last 18 months, where
inundated.
Well, inundated, and you also now we've broken down that barrier of producers and clients not willing to work with people who aren't in New York or LA. And so now you have a lot of these producers who are just willing to work with the best person no matter where they are. And those relationships are what's, you want to be, if you're top of mind, somebody's going to call you for these, these things that they need. It's going to save them the time. I'm not going to spend, especially trying to cast something now.
Right.
I put up a casting this morning, and like the first 4 hours is just me trying to answer questions, not even getting a chance to listen to auditions. It's just answering questions. There's issues with this. How do we name this? How do we do this? How do we do this? And it just takes a lot of time. And if I could just say, great, let me call the person who can do this job, I've saved myself hours and days. And so you get somebody who's casting a major job. You're talking about animation, video game, anything. They'll go to the people that they know first, and if they can't find what they need, then you expand your search. But there's a lot. Trust, trust is a huge factor. Like, you need to trust the person you bring in is going to be able to do this job, and especially now in this environment where you have to trust that they're gonna be able to deliver a great product from their home studio. That trust has to be there, and that they're going to be able to do the job. If you're talking animation, video game, can this person come in and deliver on 4 or 5 characters? Are they, and you've got now 14 other people on the line. You've got producers, directors, everybody's dialing in and watching. And part of this, they're taking their day, they're taking their 4 hours out of their time to come in and do this session. If you can't deliver what you're doing, you've just wasted 4 hours of time for 14, 15, 16 people. That's a lot of money down the drain. There's a lot of time down the drain.
Yeah.
And makes people fired. Less. Yeah. Well, you're fired. And now this producer is less likely to take a chance on somebody they don't know.
That's right.
And so now they're more than likely to go back to somebody they do know. So now it is about who they know. Who do I know who can do this job for me? But that's the realm that you want to be in. You want to be the person who gets called for these jobs because people know that you can do it. You want to be the guitar player that gets called on tour because they know, I'm not going to audition 50 guitar players. Let me call the one person I know who can do this job, who I can call today, who's going to show up tomorrow with their gear ready to go and can learn these songs and be on tour with me in 3 days. You're going to call somebody, you bring somebody in new to a session where you've got 4 or 6 other people in that room, and they can't pull off the audition that they submitted, or they can't pull off the character you need them to do. Well, you just wasted. You're still paying those 4 or 5 other talent for their 4-hour session. It's a SAG after job, and you're now paying scale or whatever it was for this talent. You burned all that money because the one person in the room couldn't do what they needed. So now let's bring in 5 people who I know and trust who can do this job. Yeah.
No, I mean, it makes perfect sense. It makes perfect sense. I just wanted to get that out there just for everybody watching. Because like I said, it's not something that people really talk about. They don't. They always talk about agents. They talk about auditions, and you should do that. But that's not really going to pay your bills necessarily.
It's the business of voiceover has expanded beyond just the art of voiceover. And we're now in a business environment, whether you like it or not, and whether you agree with it or not.
Yes, if you want to be successful, you have to wrap your head around the whole business of it.
Absolutely.
And be knowledgeable about all aspects.
Absolutely.
And stick a broom up your butt so you can sweep the floor at the same time.
Right.
I've never tried that. Would that be like a weird Roomba?
Hey, it gets shit done, let me tell you.
Look
how spotless this place is.
That's the greatest ever. Oh, gee. We're on to something here, fellas. I promise you. Jesus, Lord. Well, hey, I'm big on food, as you may or may not be able to tell. I need to know your comfort food and drink. I have to know.
Jack and Coke. Give me Jack and Coke. Or a nice
Urban man.
Good. Or my favorite though is Boundary, this little brewery up in Washington, Boundary Bay Brewery Stout. Nice dark beer. You can't get a dark stout in California to save your life, man.
Roast beef in a can, you sons of bitches.
Exactly.
Cheer the heart.
You can get some pale ale all day long.
Yeah. Nice happy. No. Give me something. Yeah, nice dark is good. And I tell you, man, like some good nachos can't go wrong. Some good nachos, you know. But you know, chicken wings, I'm always down with that. But you know, good. I've been craving a salad recently, so I think I'm gonna have a salad tonight.
Oh,
so
salads are good. Have you had Greek nachos before?
not had Greek nachos. No, what are Greek nachos? I don't know. I don't know. Huh?
Well, they have like, homemade pita chips that are put down.
Okay.
And then you have the lamb, and you have the
okay.
feta, and you have, you have everything
I can
on
see that.
top, olives
Okay.
and everything. It's really good.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah,
So it's a gyro that exploded on a plate.
pretty much
There you
that.
go.
Yes.
All right. I get that.
Absolutely delicious.
Go.
Uh-huh.
Nice. Awesome. Well,
Well, I appreciate it. I have to know that every single
yeah,
time.
there
He
you go.
does. He really does.
Nosy like that.
Yeah. Good Jack and Coke is fine. Yeah. Good Jack and Coke is a good deal.
Jack and Coke.
That's good.
That's my comfort food. Jack and Coke. That's all I need.
That's it.
I'm good.
Done.
There ain't nothing wrong with having two or
And that's
three
your-
Jack and Cokes
That's your
con-
booth behind you?
Yeah, that's back there. That's the double doors to the booth. Yeah.
Nice.
Yep.
I like that.
So, yeah. So we can actually, and I can do. We just change video. We got a video on the
Yeah,
booth.
yeah. Switch cameras on us.
Yeah. So
Here we go. Oh,
Yep.
look, he's got the UV thing to get rid of Corona.
Yep. Yeah. So we blast the room. We've got so we actually have like a real time disinfecting system in here. So when we're done, we can blast the booth with the UVC, and then actually in the room that I'm in now, there's a UVC light above me that
Is
runs.
that a U87?
That's a U87. Yep. That's U87.
Can't hide that from me.
Nope. Normally I have a 416. And then actually I got this little ceiling mic that I use here for the
I
top.
know. We talked about
Which
that.
is
It's hilarious.
awesome. It's great.
That's fun. No, I have a bunch of
yeah.
silly mics too. I use.
Yeah, it's great. Well,
We're trying to get Rode to sponsor us, but they're not catching on at all. Like the thing is on every episode. Like, come on, Rode,
it's right
like
there.
get with it. What the hell?
They could do it.
I tag them in every episode too, but they're still not catching on.
Or Guitar
Rode
Center.
microphones,
Okay.
come on, man.
Yeah, exactly. Someday.
What the hell? Crazy. Well, thank you so much for being on, man. This has been
Sure.
very
That's
enlightening.
awesome.
Because,
Thanks for
like I said,
the invitation.
Jared and I don't know you that well, so now we know we feel like we know you so much better.
Absolutely. This is awesome. Yeah, no, always happy to chat. This is great.
And now we have like coast to coast studios. We're like connected. Woo!
So absolutely. Yeah. Look at that.
Yeah,
like
I'm
a big giant wire in between. You know?
Right. What are you
Coming
saying,
to
Jared?
I was like afraid of coming to LA and like thinking that because everybody tells you everybody's a certain way,
LA's awesome, man. Everybody's great down here.
But you're there and like you're just a really skinny, good-looking version of me, is what it is. So, I mean, there's that.
Yeah. Come
No,
down. Everybody's welcome to LA, man. The studio's always open. We always, we'll go down to the Fat Dog and get drinks and food and have a big old party. Yeah.
I like fat dogs.
Yeah.
I like
My
the
favorite
willy
sound in the
woo.
world is a dog eating a potato chip. That shit is hilarious.
Nice.
It is what it is.
Oh, my dog. Well, oh, she's not back.
Are you
That's
close to the beach?
not at all. No.
Yeah, he's like, the hell with that.
Yeah, nice. Okay.
8 miles, which is not at
Oh
all.
my. Okay. I thought Everett was far from the beach. No, he's like 2 blocks.
Yeah, no, he's
He's
no,
like
that's
2 blocks. You're like 8 miles. No, that's no. Yeah.
miles. That's a good hour.
Yeah, that's not a walk.
Not a
or
walk.
anything.
Not
No.
at all.
Not even close. No, I'm pretty much in Hollywood. I'm just south of Hollywood, so I can actually look out the window here. I can see the Hollywood sign out the window here.
Nice.
Right in the heart. Yeah.
If I
Okay.
look out my windows, it'll say honk for Jesus. Georgia. I love Georgia.
I can't find a window in this place.
Well, we just happened to come to the part of the episode where you're going to give me all the information about where people can find you and what you do.
Yes, absolutely. Yes.
All
So
the
all,
hashtags and
Yes.
TikToks and
all that good stuff. Pretty much SoundBOX LA everywhere. And SoundBOX.LA is our website for the studios. And then Tim Friedlander everywhere. It's spelled like Friedlander, so Tim Friedlander. That's mostly, just kind of start looking for that stuff, you'll find us. But the studios is all SoundBOX, SoundBOX LA or SoundBOX.LA. And that's where all of our stuff is. Instagram, TikTok. Actually, no TikTok. My dog has a TikTok, but I dog's on TikTok. Look up my
The
dog.
dog's gonna get more views. Be honest.
No, she's got more. Yeah, has more followers on Instagram than I do.
Absolutely.
Yeah, she's rocking it. So, yeah.
I didn't catch her name.
Oh, CHO.
Oh,
Josephine Barker is her full name.
Little picture right there. Boop.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, little pit bull.
Boop.
Yep. So
I got a boxer pit mix. Her name is Dave. She's a nut job.
Yeah. Those
Dogs
boxers usually are, man. Boxers. I've heard of a few boxers. They're all kind of nut jobs, aren't they? Is that a boxer thing or what? I don't know.
I don't know. But mine always reminds me of that one on TikTok. Now that you say, it's like, that person does that this, and it's like, oh, just we go over here and we're gonna hit this, and dude, that cracks me up so much. I spend more time watching the damn dog videos like they're talking to me because I'm like, this dog's funny as shit. Well, guys,
and your woman's like, bless your heart.
Yeah, that's really a saying down here. Be like, that's why we bought 2 beds and a comfortable couch. That's ridiculous.
Awesome.
Well, this is the part where we're going to end the show, everybody. I've had a fantastic time. Thank you again to Mr. Friedlander. Freelander. Gotcha. It spells like that. Don't forget the spelling. Don't screw it up. Guys, it's been another episode of VO in Stereo. Thank you so much. As always, we always deliver something a little extra.
All for free.
Right?
You bastard. So make sure you subscribe.
Yes, and go have a Jack and Coke.
Yes, we all should.
Yes.
Ooh.
Awesome.
All right, guys. Whee!
Awesome.